7. Anna Elk Moon's been murdered, and it's all over the news. Get down to headquarters pronto.
As word of her death spreads, friends and fans of Anna Elk Moon, one of the Southwest's most celebrated potters, are gathering here outside of her home in Santa Vera to pay their respects. Widely acknowledged as the foremost practitioner of the popular Santa Vera pottery style, Elk Moon was found dead early this morning in her studio by her husband, Jack Gordon, a professor at the university. Police are releasing few details, but it is believed the subject suffered fatal gunshot wounds. No suspects have been identified as of yet. This is Teresa Chavez for KITT Channel 6 News.
Heading back to headquarters, over.
Copy that, D-52.
I thought you'd never get here. Come on in. One thing's for sure. Anna Elk Moon had some friends in pretty high places. I've already heard from the governor's office, the honchos in the legislature, and the regional director of the FBI. Everybody wants answers. I told them I got my best people working on the case. So don't make a liar out of me, huh? Now, there's not a lot I can tell you here. The victim was found in her studio by her husband at approximately 5 a.m. Bullet in her brain. And they both went to the public hearing on the casino project last night. When they got home, she went straight to her studio to work. Detective Nice Guy, come on in.
Chief?
I'm just filling your partner in here. Anyway, it looks like some of her pots are missing. That and a bunch of cash. At least $2 grand, according to Gordon. He says his wife hated banks, and she always carried a wad with her. Now, let's get this straight. I'm giving you overall authority for this case. But since the victim is a Native American living off tribal lands, we've got to tread lightly here. So I'd like Nice Guy to do most of the talking. Comprende? All right. Now, I'm also assigning a Sergeant Rebecca Orlando to do the legwork, checking alibis for you. Nice Guy, tell him about that new gadget we got there, that PDA, Personal Digital what?
PDA, Chief. Personal Digital Assistant. These will keep us in touch with headquarters day or night. The lab can beep us for test results, or if the chief needs to talk to us...
All right. We got a murder case to solve here. Now, just push the help button there if you can't figure this thing out. Now, remember, I got half the state breathing down my neck. I want answers, and I want the right ones. The FBI's already making noises about jurisdiction. I can only guarantee you people 5 days to crack this before the big boys muscle in. So, use your time wisely. You don't follow the right leads, your 5 days will get eaten up with chit-chat and blind alleys. And I don't want you people hanging out with those nutcases at the Mongoose Tavern. Everybody down there thinks they're Sam Spade. Don't be standing around here. Come on, let's get going.
Detective Rebecca Orlando here, reporting for duty. Hey detectives, forensics will be closing off the crime scene in 7 hours, so you better get over there, pronto. Only 5 days to solve the mystery. Good luck. Time flies in Santa Fe.
D-52, we're on our way to Jack Gordon's, over.
10-4.
The receipt is for Anna Elkmoon's restoration services for cleaning the historic Kiva pot, which Astrid Ames was going to return to the Pueblo. I found both Elkmoon and Ames' fingerprints on the receipt, along with some clay traces from her studio. Too bad that pot is missing. A priceless artifact like that sure put some pressure on the chief to find out who did this. The receipt is for Anna Elkmoon's restoration services for cleaning the historic Kiva pot, which Astrid Ames was going to return to the Pueblo. I found both Elkmoon and Ames' fingerprints on the receipt, along with some clay traces from her studio. Too bad that pot is missing. A priceless artifact like that sure put some pressure on the chief to find out who did this.
If we could begin with your name and occupation, relationship to the victim.
Jack Gordon. I teach anthropology at the University of New Mexico. Anna Elkmoon's my wife.
Can you describe the events of last night?
Of course. Anna and I went to the casino hearing at 7:30. For my own part, I wasn't too keen on going. Anna's taken a fair amount of heat for moving off the Pueblo and marrying a white man. A lot of folks thought her opposition to the casino was actually backfiring, that any Indian who's had the success she's had doing her own type of non-traditional art had no right to beat the preservationist drum. I mean, she's accused of hypocrisy and much worse. I thought she was asking for it. But nothing scared Hannah. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind, and last night was certainly no different. I thought she got a good reception until after it broke up.
What happened after the meeting?
She had a run-in with Roy.
Roy?
Roy Elkmoon, her ex-husband, and if I'm not mistaken, her murderer.
What did he do exactly?
We were in the parking lot. He snuck up out of the darkness, started ranting. Said Anna had hidden assets during the settlement hearing. He'd been trying to reopen the decree ever since the divorce. I just hustled Anna into the car and we drove off. Now, by my age, I've learned better than getting a pissing match with a skunk.
What makes you think Roy killed her?
Roy was a wife beater. He put Anna in the hospital once that I know of. Broke her right arm. Andy was desperate. Roy never could let go. And for the most part, Anna ignored it. I think that made him even crazier. You know, I'd actually stopped drinking. For Anna's sake. Now what's the use?
You drove home after the meeting?
We must have gotten home about 10:30. I went in the house to bed to watch TV, and I went out to work in the studio. She's been all gung-ho about this pot she's been cleaning for Astrid Ames. It's some super valuable piece that's being returned to the Pueblo. You know, for all I know, that's what they were after. Anyway, I must have fallen asleep. The next thing I know, I wake up and there's television static. It's 5 a.m. and Anna's not there. I went out to the studio. That's when I found her. Call the police.
You didn't hear anything? Gunshots?
No. Anna said I could sleep through Armageddon.
You say you watched TV when you got home.
A letter when I got in. And then the beginning of the 11 o'clock news. Last thing I remember is a truck crash, I don't know, Route 25.
Is there anyone else you think might shed some light on all of this?
Anna had been working with an anti-casino group. I forget the name. It was run by this young guy named Paul Balin. They'd been spending a lot of time together the last few weeks. You could ask him. He might have an idea or two. Oh. And McCorse.
Who's McCorse?
McCorse is this guy that Anna used for the garden. She caught him snorting coke on the job and fired him. Well, he harassed us for a while. Kept calling all hours of the night, claiming we owed him money. This was 4 months back.
Did Anna smoke?
Neither one of us did.
Our condolences, Mr. Gordon. We'll be in touch.
That guy really knows how to booze it up. Looks like he likes his Scotch whiskey. What do you think, partner? Think he did it?
There's an important lead from Carrie March. The chief requests that you proceed to her residence immediately. Phone records show that Anna Elkmoon placed 3 phone calls from her studio on the afternoon before the murder. One to Astrid Ames at 2:35, 1 minute. One to Von Dressner, 2:48, 3 minutes. And one to Joey Detta, 3:36, 6 minutes.
D-52, we're on our way to Paul Balin's office. Over.
Okay, D-52, copy.
Have a seat. I was hoping you'd come. This is about Anna, right?
Yes, Mr. Balin, it is.
Did you find the dirtbag who did this?
Well, we're still in the information gathering mode.
You know Ed Snyder and Sonny Two Feathers? They'd steamroll their own grandmothers if they thought this casino plan could get passed.
Are you accusing either one of them of her murder?
Well, I have no proof, but I believe they were tied up in it, yes.
Mr. Balin, exactly what was your connection to Anna Elkmoon?
Well, we shared a common goal. She didn't want to see her people's culture trashed, and I didn't want to see a pristine corner of New Mexico ruined forever. There's no water. There's no infrastructure. It's a recipe for environmental disaster.
So that's it? You were political bedfellows?
I guess you could say that.
I assume you were also at the public hearing. What happened afterward?
Well, we'd arranged to go over some strategy for the upcoming vote. We agreed that I'd come over to the studio late. But when I arrived, I realized that there was someone else there.
So someone visited her after the meeting?
Yeah. There was a green Econoline van parked outside. So, I realized that our meeting could wait for a better time.
What time was that?
12:10, 12:15, sometime around then.
Do you remember any numbers or letters on the license plate?
No. It was just in-state plates, that's all.
And after you drove away?
I went home. I have a roommate. She saw me come in.
Okay. Thanks for your help. We'll be in touch. Dispatch, Detective 52 Night Sky here. Can you run a 2829 registration check on all in-state green Econoline vans in the Santa Fe area? Copy.
Okay, D52, copy.
I just got another call from the governor's office. He says his constituents are bombarding him. Now, I told him you two were getting very close. And you sure as hell better be.
The liquid traces in the broken glass are Scotch, and we matched it to old grouse. The fingerprints on the glass were a positive match with the victim's husband, Jack Gordon.
Que estúpido. Jack Gordon has no alibi. He says he fell asleep during the 11 o'clock news, more like passed out, all grouse from what I hear. With this alibi, he's placing himself at the crime scene around the time of the murder. With an alibi like that, who needs a confession?